Hello and welcome back to the Shed Geek Podcast. Here's a message from our 2025 studio sponsor. Let's be real. Running a shed business today isn't just about building great sheds. The industry is changing fast. We're all feeling the squeeze, competing for fewer buyers while expectations keep climbing. And yet, I hear from many of you that you are still juggling spreadsheets, clunky software, or disconnected systems. You're spending more time managing chaos than actually growing your business. That's why I want to talk to you about our studio sponsor, ShedPro. If you're not already using them, I really think you should check them out. ShedPro combines your 3D configurator, point of sale, RTO contracts, inventory, deliveries, and dealer tools all in one platform. They even integrate cleanly into our Shed Geek marketing solutions. From website lead to final delivery, you can quote, contract, collect payment, and schedule delivery in one clean workflow. No more double entries, no more back and forth chaos. Quoting is faster, orders are cleaner. And instead of chasing down paperwork, you're actually running your business. And if you mention Shed Geek, you'll get 25% off all setup fees. Check it out at shedpro.co/ShedGeek. Thank you, ShedPro, for being our studio sponsor, and honestly, for building something that helps the industry.
Welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Cord Cook, filling in for Shannon Latham. Just want to quickly remind everyone, for any additional information about today's guest or to get a hold of the Shed Geek Podcast directly, reach out to 618-309-3648. You can also email info@shedgeek.com. You can fill out our contact form on www.shedgeek.com. And also remember to check out the Shed Geek Facebook page for the latest updates, guests, their information, and all things Shed Geek. And for those of you who are on Facebook and are shed sales professionals, be sure to check out the Shed Sales Professionals Facebook page and interact there, so that we are all sharing our knowledge and are helping each other be better. So, having said that, I would like to introduce today's guest, Mr. Joe Schneider, Vice President of Kloter Farms in Ellington, Connecticut. Am I saying all those things correctly, Joe?
That's correct. Yes, you got it.
I really try. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
I really try hard to pronounce everything correctly. I know my name is not up on the screen right now, but my last name is Cook, but it's spelled K-O-C-H, like a good German would, of course. And so I've always been very sensitive to trying to pronounce other people's names and businesses and everything correctly. So, Joe, since I've said everything correctly, why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself, to Kloter Farms. I know Shannon has actually been acquainted with, I believe it's your uncle Jason for several years. Kind of give us a little background on who you are and why you're in the shed business.
Sure. So my name's Joe. Like you said, we're with a company named Kloter Farms, and why I'm in the shed business is I'm personally third generation of the Kloter family. My mother was a Kloter. It would be my grandfather who started the company back in the late 70s, early 80s. So it's a family-run business, family-owned business, and it has grown significantly over the years in different avenues. We started out with smaller options for sheds, went into larger garages, and now we also have a full furniture store with indoor furniture as well as custom kitchens. But the majority of our business is sheds, garages, and everything for your outdoor, pergolas, pavilions, poly furniture, things like that. Ellington, Connecticut is not really a super bustling area. It's 20 minutes off the highway.
Right.
You pretty much, we joke about it here, you either buy pizza in this town or you buy a shed. And so Kloter Farms is a big staple centerpiece of the town. Of course, it's grown over the years. But it was always created and defined as a destination place. So that was the vision that my grandfather had to draw people to come from all different parts of the tri-state area, which is Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, and get people to come here and not just buy a product, to have the full, what we call the Kloter Farms experience.
Right.
So we have over 16 acres of buildings and sheds here, several acres of a full-blown custom display, and then about 15,000 square feet of a custom indoor furniture store, combined with, play sets to play on and ice cream for people. So again, it's designed as a destination place, which also where we operate our business to sell sheds and things like that.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, you all are doing a good job because whenever Shannon and I have been on the road, and we are out visiting manufacturers and dealers, and really kind of doing the in-person, version of exploring the shed world. Everyone always says, as we start to get up to that, northeastern part of the country, everybody always says Kloter Farms. Kloter Farms. They're the ones to go see. So not only are you impressive to your customers, and creating that experience for them, but I'll say you've made a name for yourself even amongst manufacturers, which is always a high, high praise, right? So,
Yeah, thank you.
but I really was very interested. We were talking a little offline, and you were saying that this is your grandfather's vision, and that it actually started with a horse-drawn carriage or making custom carriages. What was the origin of how the sort of the manufacturing there started?
Yeah, so it's it's a fun story to talk about and tell, but things get shifted over the years of how did everything really kind of come about and start. It was
Right.
Again, always something that has to start out small to become something that's bigger over the years. But he would sell, he had horses, and he would sell shavings and horse bridles and tackle to different people. And he was always a visionary and liked to have newer ideas and concepts. So he was trying to design this custom carriage that actually had a spring built into it. The back wheel had a spring, so you could actually, when you're going up and down, you could flex.
Yeah.
Called a flexi shaft.
Yeah.
And he had learned that there was some fabricators down in Pennsylvania. So this was down in late 70s timeframe. So he took a drive down there with my grandmother, and he found a fabricator gentleman down there, and he started bringing up every few months a couple of horse and carriages, and he would bring them around to different shows and places.
Introducing the Challenger, the revolutionary new shed mover that's taking the industry by storm. The Challenger features a touchless design, ensuring it only makes contact at the end of the skids and the bottom of the floor joists, so rest easy knowing your gable walls will remain pristine. Worried about reliability? Fear not, the Challenger is always up for the challenge and will not overturn or scuff your shed. Harness the power of innovative wireless technology. Remotely control the Challenger via your smartphone. No cell service needed. And guess what? The cell phone remote comes standard with every Challenger at no extra cost. Featuring floating forks, a 4-directional tilting mast, and sliding weight transfer, move the shed weight precisely where you need it to get ultimate traction. With self-loading capability, straight onto your truck, say goodbye to the need for a hydraulic carriage. The Challenger makes your job easy and more efficient. Choose from 2 machine sizes, 10,000 pounds and 15,000 pounds. Perfect for any job. Visit www.shedchallenger.com or email us at info@shedchallenger.com or call or text 828-220-3508 for more information. Experience the future of shed moving with the Challenger.
That worked for a little while, but it was difficult to trailer everything around. And
Right.
he was down there one time, and the gentleman who he was working with mentioned that somebody was starting to make pre-built sheds. So he stopped in there and said, "Well, I'll buy one of these pre-built sheds, and then you can put the actual bridle and tackle into the shed and ship it up to me."
Right.
So he brought that shed to what we call our Big E, which is a huge tri-state fair. It averages about 1 million people, 1,000,005 people in a 2 week
Oh,
period.
wow.
So the exposure is extreme to that fair. And he had very little interest in the horse-drawn carriages and significant interest in the sheds. So this is like
Right.
1979.
Sure.
And as the story goes, as in his designer type world, entrepreneur, he took over a dozen orders of pre-built sheds without having a supplier, without having a way figured out how he was going to get them from Pennsylvania to here. But he knew somebody down there was building sheds.
Right.
So he took several orders from that show and he said, "I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but if people want this stuff, I'm going to figure out a way to sell it." And that's what the very short version of what started really a kind of a pioneer down there in Pennsylvania of my grandfather and a couple of young Amishmen on what is now in Lancaster County one of the biggest shed building hubs of the United States.
Right. Wow.
And so over the years of this is our 45th year of being in business, things have grown a lot to a high quality, high volume type product that we sell. And our job as third generation coming in is truthfully maintaining what has been built, the values that have been built, but also keeping a very high quality product at
Yeah.
while still delivering a high volume number of sheds and buildings and garages and things like that. So
It's
he
check.
jokes about it. He kind of backed his way into a very large business shed company that
Right.
has again grown over the years.
Yeah. So it's just the entrepreneurial spirit, though, isn't it? At this
Yeah,
point, like some of that has almost become like a meme on the internet, right? Where the sort of meme will be something like, um, it'll be a cartoon or something of someone looking surprised or looking dreadful or whatever, and saying something to the effect of, figuring out how to build the project after I just won a bid on something I'd never done, or like you won the bid and now you have to figure it out, right? It sounds like
yeah,
that's that a lot of times that is the entrepreneur's journey, right? You get in front of people and before you know it, they're asking, can you do this? And I think, entrepreneurs and spirited people say, yeah, of course I can, right? And you wind up kind of in that situation. Um, so maybe kind of obviously it's been an evolution over the years, but one of the things that really jumped out to me was just um, how well presented, going from building building horse-drawn carriages in the 70s and 80s to now, whenever you look up Kloter Farms, as I was doing some research, I mean, my goodness, you all have professional photography on every single platform that you're on, right? And everything is beautiful and so well presented. And I would even call some of the furniture Instagrammable. you know, uh, it's just very beautiful, and it also has that form and function. I believe a cube bed was something that I saw. So maybe kind
a
of
what bed?
a cube. Was that what it was? It was like in a dresser where the bed
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
actually came out of the dresser. So
folds
maybe
right
kind of,
out. Yeah.
yeah, so maybe kind of talk about, obviously what that journey has been like, and now you've wound up. I mean, not just as an in person experience, but really you're translating that experience onto digital platforms, which is so impressive in this industry when people are able to really make you feel like you're in that experience through a screen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge, and every day it seems like there's more and more that you can do with, again, it starts with professional photography, but for sure in the world of AI and being able to add and subtract things to a project.
Right.
Um, we are very fortunate to have a lot of raving customer fans that are more than happy to let us come back with a photography team or a crew and set up and take pictures and videos of their outdoor space. So maybe it's a shed or a pool house, but then they come back and they buy a pavilion and some furniture. And then we can kind of create that whole kind of outdoor oasis concept that we can offer you everything for your backyard.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and over 40% of our customer base is second, coming back for a second time. So that's a huge amount of people that retained customers is a very big thing for us. So not just coming for one purchase and one and done. We talk about that a lot when we sit on panels and things like that of a lot of people's mentality can kind of be like, I need to find the next shed customer. And you're right, you might on that, but to have products and stuff that accent sheds nicely allows you to have that customer come back 2, 3, 4 times.
Absolutely. And you talk about a low cost of acquisition, right? Is what you kind of call it in the marketing and sales world. The lowest cost of acquisition possible is a satisfied customer who walks back on the lot and knows they're buying from you, right?
Absolutely. And they'll tell 10 of their friends too. So that's
right.
a snowball
That's
effect.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So maybe walk us through, Joe. I know you're the vice president there at Kloter Farms, but are you kind of in this third generation operation? Like what is your day to day? Are you providing some of the long-term vision? Are you digging in on on the lot or in the sales area itself? Like tell us what you're doing there to keep this family business rolling, Mr. Schneider.
So every day is a different, something different. I like to refer to myself as the fireman sometimes. So I don't have a set of rules or tasks that I need to get done every day.
Right.
But in a high volume, in 20 or 30 people's yard every day, things just happen.
Right.
Multiple build crews. So the concept of being there and helpful to your sales team is my number one spot that I even though I don't get to do tons of selling, I still love to work with customers and sell to them. So I'm often outside chatting with customers, thanking them for coming. We do have a full 6-person full-time sales staff. So people come in to our facility, they're greeted by somebody. And so I help our sales staff. And then my second, probably biggest, is vendor relations. And I have done all of the ordering for all of our products for several years. I am reluctantly, but requirement. I need to pass that off to somebody because I love doing it. I love our shops, the people that we work with. We're very much a relationship-based company, so we've been here for 45 years, but the companies that we started with 30, 40 years ago down in Pennsylvania, they're also on their second and third generation. So we pretty much treat them like family. They come up to our vacation homes and spend time with us. So that's very much a close family atmosphere. But as things continue to grow, and I have hired a gentleman to do all of the ordering. So I'm working on transitioning that, setting things on purchase orders and making it so after the sales team sells the product, it comes here at the right time on the correct load. And that is a full-time job that I've been doing that I'm shedding currently. Yeah. So my schedule's lightening up, but more on the visionary side is where I would like to be in the next 12 months.
Hello, shed sellers. Let's take a moment to discuss the shed customer and meeting their expectations. I remember growing up in the neighborhood where a certain percentage of the houses had well-manicured lawns and well-manicured homes. These were the type of individuals who felt it was important to purchase a well-constructed home or vehicle, or maybe equipment to help maintain the quality of the item. As shed manufacturers, we seek to provide a well-built quality shed. We want the customer to feel satisfied that their hard-earned money has been well spent on a product that will last. At LuxGuard, we believe adding high-quality rubber flooring to your line of sheds makes sense to the customer and adds value the customer can appreciate. With each year, sheds are becoming more complex. The customizations we are seeing are virtually endless. LuxGuard not only gives a complimentary aesthetic appearance for their shed, but also protects the floor from spills and keeps cleanup simple. Offer your customer the customer service they seek with LuxGuard. At LuxGuard, we are committed to delivering exceptional customer service and innovative products to help our customers achieve their goals. We strive to meet the evolving needs of the customers. To speak with one of our ready-to-serve customer product specialists, simply call 336-468-4311. To see our product and view an installation video, just visit our website at luxguard.com. LuxGuard, the floor that lasts a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those things where, like, you need to do it, right? You know that you need to automate and you need to kind of adopt those kind of modern best practices. But at the same time, you hate to lose those phone calls with vendors, and right,
Yeah.
like on
Yeah.
some level, on some level, you just kind of it's one of those things that keeps everybody connected. It's been a theme really over the last several weeks here on the Shed Geek podcast, a theme of diversification of product offerings. And I know that you all are in a little different circumstance. I mean, you have, like you said, more of that experience lot, where you do have, I believe, kind of like a country store and some gifts, and you're doing furniture. So you have an indoor showroom as well as outdoor.
Right.
But so I know it's a little different from people who are kind of on a standard shed lot, but maybe just talk a little bit about how you all approach those different product offerings. And if you don't mind to share, maybe even just sort of what the best diversified offerings are, right? Is the second best thing that you sell is some sorghum molasses or something, right? Because if that helps people come onto the lot or whatever, then I think that's something that a lot of people would consider.
A lot of what we do is
Big question.
listening to, and to boil a lot of it down is listening to our customers and what they're asking for.
Right.
So yes, for a long time we've had the very basic T111 pre-built shed. Up in the Northeast here, we still use all hardwoods. We use no OSB material. Everything's still solid plywood, true, real T111, or vinyl siding or clapboard. But
Sure.
we will always have the basic 10 by 12 T111 shed on our lot. But it was really customers that pushed us to, hey, we want a shed, but we want it to look more decorative. Okay, we want a shed, but we want a 10-pitch roof on it. Okay, we want a type of structure, but we want it to be a screened-in room. I can look around at the lot and remember the years that customers kept coming in, and finally we're like, okay, well, enough people ask. People have been asking us for years to build a greenhouse. We've gotten into that, worked with one of our vendors, designed it, engineered it, and now there's probably 35 greenhouses sitting out there ready to ship next week or 2 weeks from now.
Right.
So on the outdoor division, it's very much listening to customers and trying to build something on a production-based level that we can market to the customer. On the indoor side, it's very much keeping up with trends and complementing that really nicely with a lot of small product like decorations and candles and stuff like that makes your showroom or your country store really beautiful. And
Right.
then we make it an urgent, like add some urgency to it where we have sales that end at a certain date, and we have a big fall, like we've decorated the whole country store for fall, and now we've decorated the whole country store for winter. So
Yeah.
that will come up and that will be like a huge thing, and a ton of people will show up because Kloter Farms country store just got decorated for the winter, and that creates a crowd and creates a buying crowd and things like that. So
Yeah,
on the store
of course.
side, it's more of keeping up with newer trends, and we build only all custom American made hardwood furniture. We advertise that hard. And on the outdoor, it's really listening to the needs of people and then seeing if we can make it work.
Right. So I guess you don't take offense to saying you have some Instagrammable products because you're shooting to have some Instagrammable products.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, people, me and you, all of us, we're all sitting on our phones for too long. I see that note pop up once a week and how much time I spend on my phone, and I'm like, what could I be doing with that 4 hours a day? So
Right,
uh,
exactly,
that's
exactly.
that's a real thing. So we're on our phones, we're all on Pinterest, people are looking, and that also speaks to people coming in and saying, hey, I realize you guys don't offer this shed exactly how I want it, but I saw this online, I saw this on Pinterest, I saw this on, truthfully, someone else's website, and can you build it for me? And we're not the custom one-off company. We're still production driven based, but we'll say, hey, we can't do this, but we can do 80 to 90% of what you're looking for on there. And they usually want to work with us, so we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Well, I kind of noticed maybe a little bit of what you're saying there, because I noticed both on your social media pages and on your website, you're featuring some really great looking two-car garages. Can you just, I mean, obviously that starts to take that production scale up and up and up. Can maybe you talk about, because I know that there are certainly other manufacturers out there who feel that they would like to go from building more standard size sheds up to those bigger structures. What was that kind of journey into that like? Because it seems like it's kind of new. Am I right about that or no?
Are you swimming in leads but struggling to close the deal? It's time to turn those leads into profits with Making Sales Simple, the ultimate sales training program designed specifically for shed sales professionals. At Making Sales Simple, we understand the challenges you face: overwhelmed by inquiries, unsure how to follow up, and missing opportunities that can boost your bottom line. Our proven techniques help you and your team master the art of connecting with customers, building trust, and closing deals like never before. Whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned pro, this training will sharpen your skills, increase your conversions, and drive your business to new heights. Don't let those leads go cold. Invest in your team's success today. Making sales simple, because every lead deserves a closer.
And it's newer for us,
Yeah.
let's call it the space of multi-car garages, or the space of a fully designed kit that needs to be fully assembled on site. Will be probably about 15 years now we've been in that space. So we always use the metaphors here, like we want to walk before we run. So clients would come in and say they want a shed, but they want a big steep roof pitch on it. So that's what started us to essentially build a box with 8-foot walls and then assemble the 12 pitch roof on site. But now you got to hire a crew and trucks and trailers and everything like that. We actually, about 20 years ago, tried to get into the 2-car garage space and struggled a little bit with it, and said, all right, let's back off for a couple of years. And we hired dedicated full-time person to manage that department, which is really what is needed for growing a segment of business that is a 4 to 7 month project, is what it takes us, from design to engineering to building it in the shop. It's only about a 5 or 6 day build on site, but we realized that we need someone to specifically manage these bigger projects. We were trying to push them through like basic sheds. Customer walks in, buys a shed, pays you half, gets delivered 6 weeks later. That's pretty easy. That's pretty black and white.
Sure.
But when you start talking foundation contractors and electrical people, and now you have a town, an engineer, and other people involved, you need that one person to go to. And now we have 3 people in that department. That has really flourished for our customers, allowing them to, still do some work with the town and stuff on the backside, but us really managing the whole part of the project with them. And it's a much higher dollar amount, so they almost expect that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we're not a
Right.
GC. We're not going to pretend we're general contractors, but that's kind of how that has morphed. And now we have some really cool new multi-car garages and displays, and people will essentially put them up, and the upstairs becomes a bonus room or an in-law apartment and things like that. So we can do some really cool stuff with our bigger buildings.
Yeah, and they have that sort of decorative. The ones that I was looking at, a lot of them do have those decorative features, architectural features. I'm sure that in a lot of cases you're kind of matching whatever is going on with a home or whatever area you're in there. Um,
Yeah.
but so for a company like Kloter Farms, um, who has really grown at that sort of primary location, and seems to have such a great reputation in the tri-state, as you said. And I would hate to try and put a number on it, but a couple 100 miles in all directions, it seems like people know of Kloter
Out there.
Farms, and yeah, and know that's the kind of place to go. So how does a company like Kloter Farms then view the sort of view the growth strategies that are kind of separate from what traditional growth strategies in the industry would be, which is let's go put up another lot, right? But you guys are seeing it differently. So how do you visualize that 3 year, 5 year, 10 year outlook from that perspective?
Yeah, I mean, our way of thinking may be different than others. We are not ever looking to put up several, let's say, hybrid or satellite lots. We've really pushed hard on that destination experience, and we have we're very fortunate for an extremely high conversion rate if we can get the customer here. It's if we can get the customer to come to our facility, we can wow them. We can find a product that fits their needs, and we can sell them the product. So we do almost no, maybe 2% of our sales would be considered like a on-site consultation. We don't do any of that. We just feel we have a huge opportunity to show people what they're getting long before it's even in their property. And you just got to come and see, feel it, and touch it. Um, it's certainly been discussed a bunch over the years. Let's go 70 miles south. There's immense amount of, homes and money that comes out of New York City.
Right.
And at this point, we feel that one or two of the partners, there's four of us, in the company, would need to move down there. And so it's a cost. It's um,
Change your lifestyle,
a
right? I mean,
significant
yeah,
change in the way our systems are done. And every year for many, many years, we've continued to grow. So we had a lot of talks about it, and then COVID hit. And COVID, I think for a lot of people was like us, was like jet fuel.
yeah.
It ballooned our company to things that we never thought we could do at the one location. So we just decided at this point we're going to stay with what we have, and it still takes an extreme amount of effort, energy just to manage and run the day-to-day operations of your normal sales and sheds. So when we talk strategy and things like that, we don't want to talk negatively about the gentleman that has 9 shed lots, but you go there and the doors are falling off and the hinges look like crap, and it's like, well, that's the presentation. And yes,
Right.
I'm. Everybody knows that Joe is an absolute stickler for the displays. They all need to look perfect at all times. So, but you get one shot to show the customer, and to not have somebody there or manning the facility is like such a curveball for us to even think about. So we have chosen to stay with one dedicated location, and everything runs through Ellington, Connecticut for us.
Yeah. So how do you then, I mean, obviously you want to at least have some reach down into the city or into the, I know in New York it's not so much suburbs as it is kind of getting into the neighborhood part. So you obviously want to have the ability to sell into those areas. So are you primarily doing that digitally? Do you have a big operation that's aimed at that, or is the notoriety or the sort of the reputation of Kloter Farms, does it just kind of carry itself into some of those bigger markets?
Yeah, I mean, the name's definitely bigger than what we do realize.
Right.
It's a staple in the shed world, at least up in New England.
Yeah.
So that carries some significant weight. But we also have people that live 20 miles from us that have no idea we sell pavilions or something like that. And you're like, what do you mean? I've been advertising $1 gazillion all over. And so we push a significant amount on SEO. So keyword search, sheds, garages, everything, anything to do in Connecticut. We want to be number one at the top of the page every single time for that. We do have, when I say tri-state area, it's Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, but still over 80% of our business is all simply in Connecticut.
Right.
So New York is 55 miles to the west, and we might go there twice a year. So that's
Oh, okay.
how small of a market that is over there. Of people, it's almost this imaginary line that's drawn. People just don't come this side of the river,
Right.
or they have somebody close. I don't know, but we market heavily in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and still the large core of our business is in Connecticut.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I also have sat down with many other companies, and they grill me with questions like I have this magic wand, and I'm like, I think Connecticut's extremely unique in the
Yeah.
world, or in the United States. Of You have Boston to the north, you have New York to the south, and Connecticut is what they call a sleep and stay state. There's not like this enormous attractions, but there is a lot of land, and there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of money.
Right.
So we almost, I don't want to say we don't need to have a second lot. We just 90%, I'm going to guess that over 80% of our business is done within a 50-mile radius.
Right.
And sure, we might go 100 miles north of Boston once a week or something like that, but your
Sure.
core business is in that 50 or 60 miles. And so I sat down maybe it was back in August, and these gentlemen had a company in Canada, and they're talking about having 20 lots because they're covering an area of like 600 miles because there's no people out there in the middle of Canada. That's a totally different concept than us, where people are, it's all stacked up right on, not on top of each other, but everybody,
Yeah.
the houses are big, the lots are big, it's conducive for sheds, and we all collect a lot of junk. So we need a shed to store it in. Sometimes we can boil it down and not overthink it. But
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
so
Sometimes they're a little more decorative, but ultimately most of them are a box for storage, right?
yeah, yep,
You know,
absolutely. For sure.
don't complicate it too much.
Digital Shed Builder is an online shed configurator that strives to provide incredible visual quality, fantastic customer service, and an amazingly low price point, making it a perfect fit for any shed dealer looking to increase their online sales. Digital Shed Builder is simple to use, taking less than 5 minutes to integrate on your site. The Get a Quote feature streamlines your sales process, showing you exactly what your potential customers need. They offer a highly customizable experience that accurately represents your brand and unique shed offerings, working with you directly to set up everything you need in a configurator. With no extra startup cost, no lengthy contracts or commitments, and no hidden fees, Digital Shed Builder has been created with quality, simplicity, and affordability in mind.
Well, I know I like that you said that you're kind of known around the office, or around the home base there, as the person who's a stickler. I think there's a lot of conversation that goes back and forth on the Shed Sales Professionals page on Facebook, of sort of that lot presentation, signage. What do you want that experience to be as soon as someone steps on the lot? Maybe could you walk me through again? I mean, I realize that you guys have a slightly different, operation there than normal, but I mean, some of these concepts are universal, right? Like,
Absolutely.
how
Yep.
does Joe see that first impression, that initial customer experience?
Well, I could talk for 3 hours about it, but two immediate things come to mind. a team of people that cares. So people that care, that really want to help a customer. So that's like simple philosophical, but I personally don't like doing business with someone who, feels like they could care less about selling the product to you. So that's a big thing to us. And um, as soon as someone comes on our lot, every single building that we have on our display, and we have about roughly 100 buildings dotted all over our display, and there's a bunch of walkways through, so it's like a little village, and people can walk through, and every single building is priced with the current discount. So we're closed on Sundays. We're a family-owned business. My grandfather and grandmother were very much in the church religious world, and that's been the Kloter Farm staple. So one day out of the 7 days, which could arguably be a very busy day, we've always been closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
Our lot is always open. So it's not uncommon for us to be closed on Sundays and me to drive by and see 10 cars there. But I know that the area is presented well, even if I'm not there, and every customer that comes or potential customer can see the pricing of the building without having to talk to a salesperson.
Yeah.
It allows the customer to feel relaxed. It allows the customer to be not pushed by the salesperson. And if they walk the lot for 20 minutes, they already kind of know about what the price is, and they know about what size they want. So they've done half the work for you. And now we're just helping them facilitate colors and design and things like that. The other thing that we do is none of our sales team works on commission. So everybody is paid either hourly or salary. And our family motto, even though the company's grown, it's still a family motto business that if the company is profitable, we share that extensively with our team. Yes,
Wow,
I, as
awesome.
the partner or boss, also get part of that chunk, but we have a pay structure that allows people to not have to be pushy to a customer. And if the company is profitable, you can get 20, 30, 40% extra pay in your bonus at the end of the year.
Wow.
That helps people work in a team. So they know they're working towards one goal. And that definitely shows with customers. When they, said, it's the best sales experience I've, we're not perfect. We definitely rub people the wrong way sometimes, but not being pushy in the sales process and allowing people to just always put your pricing out there and not be afraid or hide your price sheets or things like that. We're completely 100% open on our website when you come here, that this is our price and this is where we need to be to work out a deal.
Yeah, I haven't noticed on your website that you have inventory, obviously, but then you have the actual oh gosh, what did you call it? The sort of show models, right? You have the models that are even separated out on your website that you're selling that were for display, right? And so
Yeah,
like you seem to be
so
very
every year
tell me.
we every year that all 100 of those buildings come out and 100 brand new ones come in. So that's like our big, that's an exciting thing. We advertise that, we push that on social media, check out our new display every year. So that promotes again, a fresh, clean look. So when you have a lot of people come across your lot and you have an ice cream shop, like things get dirty over the year, and a good fresh look is that's what we've felt is just super important for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those display models we sell at a little bit deeper discount, and then the people wait till spring to get them delivered. So it's a little incentive, and it helps cash flow in the winter, and it allows us to keep our displays, but now we have customer deposits, and then we deliver those in the spring when we take apart our whole display.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes a ton of sense. And clearly labeling those things, again, to your point, right? Not sort of keeping that a secret or just listing it as normal inventory, listing it as the display model, right? And listing it as you're getting this discount because of that. Just seems like a very straightforward way. And I mean, just off the top of your head, I mean, are you usually able to sell all 100 of those display models in a 60-day period or something? Like how does
we'll
that usually go?
have probably 85% of them sold by January 1. And then you have the other 15% are kind of like really specific buildings, which are a little tougher to get rid of.
Right.
But
Yeah.
people know that like we push that out in emails like, hey, get ready for our display models and stuff like that. So
Right.
usually first day, like 20 of them are gone because people have been waiting and waiting for us to put them up for sale.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
No,
how
that struck me.
creating a sense of urgency. So that's a huge thing, creating a sense of urgency. We run a lot of different sales, so probably 20 different sales throughout the year. So there's always a sale going on. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
But there's also always a sale end date. There's nothing like a good hook to get a customer in there to say the sale ends this day, and after that's it. It might sound kind of cheesy, but without being too strong with the customer, it gives them a deadline to shoot for.
And it's the magic of promotions, right? I mean, there's a reason that there's whole industries built around lead generation and, marketing and everything like that. And those promotional tactics, an event, right? Something that has a start date and an end date that has an additional benefit, right? I mean, there's just a reason that those things are effective, and it's much to what you're saying there, right? It's the psychology, of the consumer. So,
Yeah.
that really kind of, I think, puts a pretty fine point on the approach that Kloter Farms has, and the dedication that you have to your customers. Just a really impressive thing. That like I said in the beginning, that your competitors, along with your customers, it seems to be fairly ubiquitous that people say, go check these guys out whenever you're up in the area. So just want to pass that compliment along one more time. So how about just closing us on something personal, Joe? Tell us about Joe outside of Kloter Farms. I think that's something that the listeners always enjoy is a little peek behind the curtain on things that are not always strictly business.
Hello, today we're going to take a look at iFab's component saw system. So we're utilizing a DeWalt chop saw. We've put it on sliders, easily to adjust. We've automated it using pneumatics so that we can run all these saws together using one actuator. We can either actuate with a two-hand safety control here or a foot pedal. The two-hand safety control comes with board clamps here, so to clamp in your board so you're totally hands-free. We've got digital readout up here to find your angle as well as your length. So we have a 90-degree saw here for your super long angle cuts. We've also got a conveyor on this system to take away your cutoffs. This system is completely modular. We can add as many saws as you need. The rails can be as long as you need.
For more information, visit www.ifabllc.com.
Sure. So first thought that comes to mind is still revolves around business. But when I was 17, I think all of us men go through a stage of we don't really need to work. We can just let things pass us by, or let us parents take care of us. And
Right.
And so my father was the vice president at the time. He ran the company for about 20 years and retired a couple of years ago. So at the time, he pretty much pushed me out and said, hey, if you want to work in the real world, like, go get a real job, and you can work for a boss that's not him. So for 5 years, I worked several different jobs. I pumped septic tanks. I did construction. I did carpentry. I did sales. And that taught me how to be treated, how not to treat people. I use those experiences every day in my interactions with the team. And it allowed me to, when an opening came back up in sales at Cloter Farms 5 years later, and they made me go through a typical hiring process, and I started right at the bottom of the totem pole, and I worked my way up. And that has also built a lot of rapport with the team. I wasn't just given anything. Yes, it's a family business. Yes, it was probably going to be somebody in the family that was, taking the reins in the future or running it, but there was no sense of expectation for that to be the case. So that's on the personal side of how I got from Kloter Farms to not to Kloter Farms, and
Yeah,
then to
back to Kloter Farms. There's
back to
so much
Kloter Farms.
value. Yeah, right.
But
There's so much value in learning every rung in the operation, right? Understanding what the workflow in the manufacturing facility is, understanding the workflow in, like you said, the thing you like to do, products and ordering and fulfillment, and understanding what the flows in that are. I mean, it really, it just gives you such a better insight into what those high level strategic things can even be, right? Because you know what the capacity of each of those individual business units are.
yeah, and it helps with the stressor points too. So this time of year, it's October, it's autumn, things are winding down a little bit on the sales side, but extremely ramped up on the delivery side. So
Right.
everybody wants everything before the snow flies. So we get
Yeah,
bad
right.
weather in New England, here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So just working with the crews and being able to know what stressors they're experiencing. So we have 6 or 7 trucks that hit the road every day. There's 20 to 25 sheds that get delivered every day. Things are going to happen. Things are going to break. And so this time of year, I'll spend more of my time just listening to the management on those departments and trying to help them out. Where in the springtime, we're really selling. We're mostly selling. We're not really delivering in the beginning of April when the yards are still soaked and stuff like that.
Right.
So in working in different avenues or different parts of the company over the years, it has helped me a ton to know, but also see those stressor points and be not take over the person's position, but help them where they need help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, understand the sort of, where that stress or that pain point is going to come in, and be able to anticipate it, and hopefully anticipate the solution, right? Keep everything
Yeah.
moving smoothly, just like we're all trying to do. No, that makes a lot of sense. Well, we always like to give the guests an opportunity at the end of the show. Any shout outs? I mean, I know it takes a ton of people and vendors and companies, to build, a 45-year, successful operation. Is there anybody in particular, that you'd like to sort of shout out here to end the episode?
Not really specifically. We have amazing vendors down in Pennsylvania that
Yeah.
really make us tick as a
Right.
company.
Right.
We know exactly what they can produce. We know how much they can produce. So we don't oversell or oversell the amount of what they can build for us. No, I don't really have a specific shout out.
Well,
Other than anybody who ever wants to come up to Connecticut, please stop in, ask for Joe, ask for Noah, ask for Stephen, or Christian. Those are the 4 of us here. We're happy to help. We're happy to give you a tour anytime.
Well, that's what I was just about.
Unless you're a
to say.
competitor in Connecticut, then no.
We're not showing you the operation. That's right. No, that's just what I was about to say.
Competition is good. Competition is healthy for sure. Competition
Yeah,
is
for sure.
necessary to keep everybody in check.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. No, but that's actually what I was going to say is, I personally, next time we are in that area, definitely want to come and check out the operation myself, shake your hand, meet you face to face. So we will do that. But I would also highly encourage any listeners, if you have the ability to check out the website, check out the social media pages, just a really well run digital operation. So even if you're just checking it out that way, I would encourage everyone just to look, and kind of take some lessons from the sort of techniques and the strategies that you all are using there. So I guess before I forgot to do this at the beginning, just super quick, I've been putting on a hat, one of Shannon's hats, every time on the podcast. Today is Heartland Capital. My friend John Carr has wound up working over there. So John, if you're listening, I've got your hat on today. And Joe, thank you so much for the interview. And I look forward to not only speaking in the future again over Zoom or on the phone, but shaking your hand and seeing you in person, sir.
Be a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. I haven't done really a podcast before very, very much. So I appreciate it. And you made it easy to talk to. And if you ever need me back or want to talk some more, I'm happy to. So thanks for
Absolutely.
having me.
You did great, Joe. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good rest
Thanks
of your
a
day.
lot. Thanks, you too. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again, Shed Pro, for being the Shed Geeks studio sponsor for 2025. If you need any more information about Shed Pro or about Shed Geek, just reach out. You can reach us by email at info@shedgeek.com or just go to our website, www.shedgeek.com, and submit a form with your information, and we'll be in contact right away. Thank you again for listening, as always, to today's episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Happy Thanksgiving from the Shed Geek team.